Hey, what's going on, friends and family? My name is Skylent, and I'm actually super stupid excited to play Torchlight Frontiers. As soon as I get my hands on it, you guys know I'll be covering it, all the classes and all that good stuff. I really want to jam to it, and I'm just kind of hungry for this style of game. Not only that, but from what I've seen, just glances, judging the book by its cover, I think it looks really good. I think it's more of a timeless art style. I think it's more of an approachable look overall, and I think the control scheme is also something that's going to be very comfortable for many players. Now, I haven't actually played it. I want to, so a lot of this is going to be speculation, but that's what we do here, guys. Don't call this a full review, but I am going to take it seriously, and hopefully you guys do too. And whatever, if you call it a shitpost, it's a shitpost. Sure, I'm just saying stuff and things, but I've been saying stuff and things for a while professionally, so let's get into it, right? Torchlight Frontiers. Immediately, I'm gonna call it out on some bullshit. It's not an MMO. You might have a different definition of MMO than me, and I will concede that this game does have open zones with 12 players. But 12 is not a massive feeling. It will have maybe, well, yeah, we will see how big it feels, but it's going to have world events, and it's going to be something akin to what we see in Destiny. So if you consider Destiny an MMO, then this is an MMO. But me, and overwhelmingly most people who aren't, journalists who are looking for that search engine optimization, no, it's not an MMO. It's not going to feel massive. If you want to see a distinction between a massively multiplayer action RPG and just an online action RPG, look at Albion Online. That is truly a massively multiplayer online action RPG. And then look at Torchlight Frontiers. It might be somewhere in between of what we see with like Path of Exile or Diablo, which are more cooperative games. They have hub towns and you can co-op with players, maybe even PvP. But this game does kind of go a little bit extra when it does have that bleeding persistence, those zones that are open to 12 players maximum. How massive it really feels, I think, I don't know, it could feel bigger than a lot of action RPG, obviously. It's going to feel less isolating than Dark Souls, for sure. But is it World of Warcraft? Is it, is it Albion Online? Is it Guild Wars 2? Man, I don't think it's an MMO, okay? So I'm gonna call that out. And actually, I'm just kind of really disappointed here that a lot of the, the journalistic sites, they're doing this thing where they're being very light with the term MMO, and they're calling it an action RPG, but then in the video, over and over, they'll say MMO, and, here and there, they'll sprinkle in the term just so that it gets more clicks and things for the different genres, and I think it's bullshit, The game is a couple of genres, sure, but is it an action RPG? Is it an MMO? Ah, man. Unless it is an action RPG, mostly, and then has a giant open field that literally has, I would dare say, 50 or more players. I would even lower my general expectations of what I would think is 100. If it's just PvE, a 50-player raid can feel pretty massive. So if there was a 50-player zones with a giant world boss, I would call that an MMO. But we're at 12, dude, and that's maximum. That's not even the general gameplay. So, I don't know. It's just dubious. There's also a couple other things that I'm dubious about in terms of the publishing and marketing of this game, especially since it's going to be, oh man, Ark. The Ark launcher. Ark. Woo! Perfect world and all that good stuff. I have words to say, but that is like a whole video. In fact, I might just do a review on certain publishers that I don't like, such as Nexon, etc. Some of my favorite games actually have been on the Ark launcher, like Gigantic, but, we see what happens to those games. This might be the game that kind of starts to claw back some respect, but I don't know. Tell me what you guys think. What do you guys think about Perfect World in the comments below, okay? But anyways, I just know that I am super weary. I'm trying to keep the hype alive, guys. I really am. But yeah, okay. Anyways, so this game I think is going to be interesting because it does because it does focus on accruing items instead of levels, and it focuses on horizontal gameplay. Basically, what they're saying is instead of being like Diablo or Path of Exile, it's going to be more of a focus, kind of like Warframe, where it's about having different characters. Being free to play, they're going to be launching lots of different. Actually, is it free to play? I'm actually so free. It should be free to play. Anyways, they're going to be launching lots of different characters and lots of different items into the game, and that's how you're going to grow your characters. There's probably going to be progression that very much in ways mirrors Warframe. It's very obvious to me that is what they're going for. I think that's actually really cool. the procedural areas, and then but you do also have the kind of like Diablo. You are going to have the dungeons that are set storied pieces. I think that's pretty cool. It's probably going to be more of a leveling kind of thing. Warframe also has its quest system, and I think it's really good. A way to kind of be a spine or backbone for the game, especially for casual players to get in, kind of, railroad through the game, level up their characters, do the general quests, and then from there, basically the game unfolds with more and more challenging layers of these procedural zones, which is pretty cool. And a lot of them are open, if not most. I want to believe most are open. That way, hey, at least they can have some merit by calling it an MMO. At least it does separate itself from Diablo or Path of Exile. But they are obviously taking inspiration and learning from mistakes of mainly, I would say, Path of Exile. Kind of like generally in the genre, you spam just like AoE attacks or like one attack. You just spam one button, basically, going through a lot of these games. And it gets pretty monotonous. But this game is designed to actually not be like that. You're supposed to use your character's full kit to be really truly efficient, and not only that, but you're not just going to be massively leveling in any one direction. It's going to be more of a wide leveling experience. So in terms of levels, your character doesn't have level. It's more about the items. You're going to get lots of different items that's going to attribute, I think, to different parts of your kit, and you're going to be using all your different parts of your kit for different areas, different sections. You might even have to switch to like totally different item sets, because there's supposed to be sort of like this elemental play in some ways. Different areas, different zones have weaknesses, pros and cons. So I don't know. I'm thinking it's basically going to be Warframe. You got to switch around your inventory, sometimes switch around characters entirely, and to go into and be most efficient in different areas and play as part of a group as well. So I think it's really cool. And so far the characters showcased seem kind of archetypal, but kind of a little bit different. I kind of like it in terms of the action RPG genre. So if we can keep getting really radically weird and strange characters, I think that would be really cool. Now, for people who are a fan of these online action RPGs, such as Tree of Savior, Path of Exile, stuff like that, if you're a fan of those kind of games, how does this game look to you? I want to know. And MMO players, are you kind of excited to get into this game? Because generally, MMO players will not play action RPGs because they can be more isolating if you're a true MMO player. So now that this one's more online, does that make you want to play it, with a group of friends, a party, jump in, jam to it? How you feeling? So I can tell you my thoughts and feelings as an MMO player. Already, it's not an MMO, but just because I'm going to criticize that publishing of it, I have to applaud that this is going to be a more social and more engaging social, experience overall for action RPG. In fact, they're even supposedly supposed to have this mechanic where you can have your characters that you've leveled previously, and you put them in a housing system, and like players can like buy from them, like they're vendors. So that's passive income somehow. Hopefully, that's actually a really interesting thing that they can do with that. I don't know. It sounds gimmicky. It sounds like it's not going to work. I've never seen passive vending really fun in a lot of the games. Like, it's just never worked for me. But maybe in this game they'll have a really cool economy that makes it work. But there's not going to be item trading, which I don't know. That's kind of weird. But I mean, I guess it works. It makes sense in a game where it's all about looting. Oh yeah, this game's going to be a looter, just like full on just loot. Since there is no player levels, apparently it's just the loot. All the game seems to be pointing at, the game design, the bullet points, to me is basically like, it's all about that grind, baby. This game is going to copy Warframe as much as it possibly can. It's going to go heavy with dailies. It's going to go heavy with events style of gameplay. And it's going to be totally focused on adding in new items and new characters and then new zones. So basically, this is going to be what I call Warframe a toy box, which is essentially you're going to get new boxes all the time, which is new, play places, new play zones, things like that, and new toys to play with in the boxes. So new characters, new items. I want them to be as radical and weird as possible. It is an action RPG, and it's not too ridiculous. It's isometric. We're not, we're not vertical. We're not like aiming. It's not Destiny. It's not Warframe. And even Warframe can get pretty ridiculous. But I think they can do some very strange kits. I've seen some fun gameplay with Tree of Savior. I've seen some fun gameplay in Path of Exile, even with character customization's crazy in that game. So you can go wild. But I want to see this game just really go off the deep end with very unique abilities. So if I had to compare, I would have to say, like League of Legends has some pretty cool abilities. Actually, their kits are much more unique, I would say, compared to a lot of other MOBA. So if we can have those kind of mechanics, those designs, I would like to really see some innovation in the isometric, click to move or even you can actually use a controller with this game, style of gameplay. I want more than just spamming AoEs. That's what I'm saying. I want more intricate spells. I want more things. Maybe like you swap position with an enemy and they explode afterwards, and you can kind of, you know, if they do explode, if they do die from it, then you can swap to a new character, and you know, things like that. Chained attacks, which you do see in League of Legends. Things that interact with the environment, maybe bouncing off walls, which we see in Battlerite actually a little bit. I don't know. I want to see really strange abilities with really strange characters that then can be modified to even stranger with strange weapons. That's the idea for me. That's the most fun for horizontal progression, and I think it's a lot of fun with games like Albion or Path of Exile that allow for a little bit of experimentation. It's cool to experiment and see how weird and unique you can become. So if they can give us fun boxes to play in with a lot of flexibility and, you know, unique characters, unique toys to play with and to mix and match, then I'm going to have a lot of fun. Right now, I think the game looks very good. It's kind of gorgeous, actually. And even though I'm a fan of MMOs, I do play some action RPG, generally stuff like Warframe or Dark Souls or Monster Hunter, which is very action-y, very much focuses on the action. The looting aspect is generally overplayed, generally heavily monetized, looking at you, Warframe, and I generally do have problems with it, especially coming from a background of free-to-play game reviews. But with this, I'm going to be hopeful, but looking at how much the bullet points are mirroring Warframe, I am highly skeptical. Hopefully, they can also learn from some pitfalls. Even in great games like Path of Exile, there are technically some issues with its monetization scheme, so as much as maybe they're learning from the pitfalls of the mechanics of those games, hopefully they can also see the publishing of those games. That there were some issues, there were some pits, and that we can, you know, pave those over and maybe be a little bit better than the competition, because that's what this game needs, I think. A lot of people are hungry for looters, regardless. It's probably going to do well, especially since it's a Western-focused one. I think a lot of people like, Moo Legend, you know? We're looking forward to Lost Ark, sure, but there's just so many games like Devilion and that one game that renamed itself like a million billion times. You know, there's some weird like genre of MMOBAs. I don't know. There's a lot of games that we're trying. I can definitely see people are hungry. I know those videos get views, but a lot of those games are dying. A lot of those games just fell completely down, but I think this is the one game that finally can come up and kind of probably be like the holy trinity compared to Diablo, Path of Exile. Then we have, well, Torchlight Frontiers. And Torchlight already was in that trinity, actually. Torchlight apparently is a beloved series that I probably should jump into, actually, because like it gets suggested all the time. So that's my thoughts and feelings on Torchlight Frontiers. Basically, I can't say too much because I haven't actually played it. So all I can tell you is what I think of basically what they want the game to be, what they're saying it will be, and kind of correcting some things, and also kind of assuming what it's going to really be like. So if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but generally I'm not. Anyways, I think it's actually going to be good, but it could also, you know, good games can become bad games. Black Desert, Arcade, you know, and a lot of people actually really don't like Warframe because of the monetization scheming, because it does pervert the gameplay flow. So if this game has a comfortable gameplay flow, isn't pay to win or anything like that, and doesn't have any crazy, you know, real money transaction or real auction house thing, then I think it's going to be great. And I think that's what they're aiming for, but perfect world, right? I played Blacklight Retribution, and I remember the grind of Gigantic. So as long as they're not money grubby and just give us lots of content, I think we're willing to pay for new characters and, you know, new cosmetics and things like that, especially if there's housing. Yeah, we're willing to pay for content. That's kind of how Warframe gets by when Destiny doesn't, right? So give us the good content and be as fair as possible. And that's all I'm asking, and I think this game is going to do freaking fantastic. So what do you guys think of Torchlight Frontiers, MMO crowd, RPG crowd? What do you guys think? Should I be playing this, or should I just ignore it? Should I just let the hype die and ignore it? I don't think so. I think I'm gonna keep it alive. Hope you guys have fun. My name's Skylent, and I'll see you in the next one.